by Twill in the Edina Galleria for the best shopping experience and best clothes you'll find in the Twin Cities.
All right, you want to go to Twitter question? You got to tell me about the Boudreaux Q&A. Tell me what the highlights
actually,
were
just
for you.
rest of there are other stuff going on around the league right now. Pacioretty was traded to Vegas, signed an extension there for the $7 million a year. He didn't get the term that a guy like JVR did, but I told you at the draft that when he fired his agent, because his agent wanted him to sign a low-ball offer with Montreal, he fired his agent, and a deal with LA fell apart, and he hired Alan Walsh, and Alan got him the money, $7 million a year, coming off a horrific year with Montreal, and he goes to Vegas, where, by the way, there's no state income tax. So he got the last laugh there. And then the other big thing that's going on right now is Erik Karlsson. What happens with him? Everybody expects that he's going to be traded by Ottawa at some point. The teams, again, that are supposedly in it are Vegas, Dallas, Tampa Bay, San Jose. Any team that trades for Erik Karlsson that's going to give up a ton of assets probably needs to know without a shadow of a doubt that he is going to re-sign there immediately on an extension, which is why I know a lot of Wild fans say it makes all the sense in the world for the Wild to go after him. But he wants $10 million a year, so you're going to have to give up a couple high-priced players. If you're going to trade a Dumba and or a Brodin and one of their top highly paid forwards, you better know that he's re-signing immediately with you for 8 years times 10 or 11. And if you don't get that impression that he will, or if you don't know for a fact he will, which you would know, you can't make that trade. So I don't see Karlsson coming to Minnesota as much as, I think he'd be a perfect fit here, even though you'd have to give up a couple big assets to get rid of him, to sign him.
Right.
In terms of Boudreaux, Bruce, we talked, and again, it's on theathletic.com today, tons of questions. Every single thing that you'd want to know going into the season that you might have as a question is in there, other than I didn't ask him when he's going to strip the C. I didn't do that. But he talks about line combinations. Line combinations are pretty much what we've talked about all along. He's going to start camp with Zuckerstall and Granlund, Parise, Koivu, and probably Niederreiter to start, Greenway, Eriksson Ek, and Coyle to start, but those are flippable with Nino. And then the fourth line is going to be a combination of, it's going to be Foligno, Fair, and then either Brown or Matty Hendricks. Matt Reen will be interchangeable in there. Kyle Rao will be interchangeable in there. On the D pairs, I asked Suter the other day, hey, who's your defense partner? And he said Jared Spurgeon. And I asked Boudreaux that, and he just laughed and pointed out that Dumba and Suter together, that both their numbers coincidentally are better when they're together rather than Suter with Spurgeon. But we'll see. I mean, Bruce made it clear that both Suter and Spurgeon will play with Ryan in training camp. And again, Ryan might not play any exhibition games, so we might not see them with their normal defense partner in a preseason game anyway. But let's just say it's Spurgeon with Suter at the end of the day, which I think we all think it eventually will get to. It'll be Brodin and Dumba, then probably Sealer and Patterin. Sealer doesn't require waivers, even though he's on a one-way deal to get to the minors, so he still has to make the team. Because if Gustav Olsson's awesome, potentially he makes the team. Nate Prosser is going to be obviously in the mix, or if you're only keeping 7D, which cap-wise you might really need to, Olofsson or Prosser do require waivers to get to the minors. And then obviously you have Susi there, and then you have Ryan Murphy there, and you have Louis Belpedio there. Luke Cunnin, it was another part of this Q&A. Bruce said that Luke Cunnin is not going to be cleared for contact to start camp and at least won't play exhibition games early. So I think it's almost certain that he's going to start the season in the minors. And then again, if you read this Q&A, it's very clear that Greenway has the inside track to make this team. They're all talking about it, Jim, and both Fenton and Boudreaux are basically talking like he is on this team. And we could talk more about the Q&A in a bit.
Very interesting. Our listener numbers have gone way up. I think we had about 150,000 listens across the network last month, which is an all-time high for us.
That's insane.
When you listen, If you could download, that will do us a lot of good as we start talking to bigger companies. It's just one more click, and hit up Brandon's banter on Twitter if you're not sure exactly how to download. He'll explain it to you. So if you can download instead of listen, that'd be great. It's also a better listening experience because you won't have any Wi-Fi problems or any interruptions. And also, we want to thank one of our primary sponsors, Whizkids.tech. It's WHIZKIDS. And if you want to reach them to ask them if they can help you with your technological needs, you can email them at hello@whizkidit.com. That's hello@WHIZKIDIT.com. Let them be your chief technology ally.
Hello, Minnesota sports fans. This is Michael Thanner, founder and CEO of WizKids. WizKids is a Minneapolis-based managed IT, hosted VoIP, and cloud services provider. Businesses today require fast response times, skilled support staff, clear communication, and technology recommendations that align with their business goals. At WizKids, we do this each and every day with our clients. When you call into our help desk for support or work with one of our higher-level engineers on a complex issue, you'll find our staff personable and ready to roll up their sleeves to help you solve your technology problems. Reach out to WizKids today to find out how we can help your business meet your technology goals. Visit us online at Whizkids.tech. That's Whizkids.tech. WizKids, make it happen.
All right, let's get more into Greenway.
Yeah, just it's like they drool over him, and we'll see. I mean, right now he's playing well in their prospect tournament in Traverse City, which ends today, the day that we're filming. We're recording.
We might be filming.
Yeah,
we just don't know about it.
Yeah. Well, there's probably like a camera right there that Russo's Slorts has on me. But he's playing well in this tournament. But as I said last week, I mean, he should play well in this tournament. And we'll see if it gives him a head start, a running start going into training camp. You want to see him play more physical with more pace, play with the puck more, go to the net. But again, he's going to play with Eriksson Ek, and that's a young line. Bruce says in this Q&A he'd like them to take a little defensive responsibilities this season away from Mikko Koivu, and he is going to meet with Mikko and tell him, I want you to be more offensive. If you're going to play with Parisi and Nino, you need to be more offensive this year, and not the way that he was last year. So that'll be interesting, and how that conversation goes. I'd love to be in that meeting. Eriksson Ek was a big part of this Q&A. They are expecting huge things from him this year. Be their third-line center, win key draws, which, as you know, he was the worst face-off centerman, regular centerman in the league last year at 42.6%. They want him to take a two-way step this year and be on a real quality two-way line with Greenway and Coyle or Nina Ryder. So we'll see if that can be. What else? He's expecting huge bounce-back years from Coyle and Nina Ryder. Massive. He's hoping that Parisi could start the way he finished. That was kind of the gist of the Q&A. Really positive on Nick Seeler. Expecting Matt Reed, who they signed, who's played 400 some odd games for the Flyers, but his career is hanging by a thread, to come in very motivated and put some pressure on Greenway to make the team. But again, there's one roster spot really available if they're healthy coming out of camp for Reed, for Greenway, for Cunnin, for Rao, for Annis. There's really one spot. So it's going to be hard if the Wild are healthy and Greenway is good for Reed to make the team.
Is Bruce usually optimistic this time of the year?
Yeah, he is. He always expects to win the division. I think he's motivated. He's motivated by the prognosticators all doubting this team. They're down to 35-1 odds by Bovada, by the way, to win the Stanley Cup this year. And a lot of people, and I get it, everybody expected this team to make bold moves. You have Winnipeg and Nashville in this division. You have Colorado up and coming. You got St. Louis at least making the most moves in the division. You have Dallas, who's Ben and Sagan. You got Chicago in there. So, there's just the same people that have always expected the Wild to take a step back and have been wrong usually, by the way, are the ones picking them again. And this time maybe they'll be right, and then they'll claim, oh, see, I called it, when they were, for 5 years in a row saying the Wild weren't going to be very good. And yet, as I said, they're the one team consistently in this league that usually makes the playoffs. But getting past there is the problem.
Let's do some Twitter questions here from Zach Brown. Who impressed for the Wild at Traverse City?
Well, I mentioned Greenway. Sokolov's look good. Alex Kavanagh is the Russian that they took in the mid-rounds in June. He's somebody that a couple years ago was another Russian that was supposed to be a real high draft pick, and then he missed all of last season because he went to the Dominican Republic and contracted hepatitis A.
Oh, man.
And he's somebody that, for his junior team, we did a story the other day on The Athletic. He says that he wants to get 100 points this year for his junior team. He's got crazy skill. Just watch some of the videos that have been tweeted out the last couple of days by our Jake Jensen and some people like that on Twitter. He's got really good skill. So there's definitely some guys that have impressed there. Mason Shaw, what's really good is that he's still playing and seems to be on his way back from this knee injury that he sustained last year in Traverse City.
Cool. Quickly, I want to tell you about fixologyrepair.com, John Hedges' shop. John comes out to all the live shows. He's also sponsoring our Viking Update show. They can do engraving. They can fix your Apple device. Yes, sir?
And I gave him, remember I was joking on the last podcast, like fix my Breitling. I gave it to him. He took it, did some sort of stuff on the innards of it, and I've had it back for a week. And it's perfectly. It was running for every other day. I'd have to recalibrate it, and it was always 5 minutes ahead within 2 days. I've had it for a week, and the timing is perfectly. So thank you, John Hedges at Fixology.
And they also repair tablets as well as and iPhones, everything else. They can kind of fix everything. They also sell really cool watches and accessories. 2 locations, 3rd floor of the Mall of America by Nordstrom's. I go by there a lot. And also downtown Minneapolis in the Skyway, just south of the Wells Fargo Center, in the Marquette building, right across from Dunn Brothers, is a smaller shop, but it's a very convenient place if you work downtown Minneapolis to drop your stuff off at.
There are some things in life that you just can't live without. Now, whether it's a special piece of jewelry, a watch, or even your smartphone, you want it in working condition. At Fixology Repair, we are committed to restoring your pieces so that everything works or fits the way it ought to. Watch servicing, chain repair, and broken screen replacements are just a few of the services that we offer at our 2 locations, Mall of America and the Skyway in downtown Minneapolis. Please visit us at fixologyrepair.com or at fixologymn on Twitter to learn more. Mention this ad and get a 10% discount on our services.
I hate ending sentences with the word at. That's really awkward. I'll try not to ever do that again. Let's do some more Twitter questions from Philip Kallenberg, our buddy, who usually sends questions right through Vicky Stevens. I'm
surprised he didn't invite Vicky for this studio show, Jim.
He might have. Well, Vicky's always around. She's kind of our stalker. Did I say that out loud? I said it out loud.
I can't believe that Vicky didn't come to the Athletic birthday party the other day. Very disappointed.
Why didn't she?
I didn't ask. I didn't feel like it was my business.
But you're making it your business right now.
I was hurt.
You're making it your business right now.
By the way, if you are an Athletic subscriber and you run into me on the street, I have about 200 Athletic phone wallets extra that were sent to me for this thing. You know what a phone wallet is? It's the thing that you tape to the back, and it has like this logo on it, and you can put credit cards or business cards in it.
My wife uses one of those.
Yeah, I'll get you one.
Okay, I can't wait to have it.
I want to see you walk through the Strib office with that thing on.
Like I'm ever going to be in the Strib office. That's pretty funny. From Philip Kallenberg, what is the player capacity of the TRIA elevator? Which is a great question. Will it look small from the photos, and how long before the players are tired of waiting their turn for a number of elevator trips with Russo Hockey lurking in the hallway, evaluating possible injuries?
That's a good point. About probably like 3.5 goalies and about 6-7 players. Probably a lot more. I'm sure they're fine cramming in on the way up, but afterwards I'm sure they're going to want to be a little, stay away since they're going to be all gross and sweaty and everything. But, guys usually come off at different times and go on the ice at different times. So I don't think it'll be an a big issue. But I jokingly said to Bruce the other day on the radio, I said, would it be a good excuse if somebody says, "Hey, coach, sorry I'm late, but the elevator got stuck." So that'd probably be your only. He laughed. So I'm a very funny person, Jim.
I've heard that. I'm waiting for evidence, but I've heard that. From Patrick Gage, thoughts on Greenway at center. I think Bruce will test that at some point.
I think he'd test it, but again, and just because also Eriksson Ek can play wing. But I think it makes a lot of sense. There's the dynamic there also is the fact that Bruce would like to keep Coyle at one position this year and not move him back and forth. But the other dynamic is that Paul Fenton's really good friends with David Quinn, who is his BU coach who tried that experiment, and I think that Fenton believes that that's potentially an issue. In camp, originally they were actually thinking of putting him on right wing on the Parisi-Koivu line, but I think they want to give him the best position to succeed and put him at a kind of a position that's natural. But if you think about it, the last year he's played center, so maybe it would be easier for him to play at that position. But I still think that in an NHL system, you want a big guy like that along the wall, and I think that's what they're going to try early on.
We have a few more Twitter questions to get to, a couple other topics to get to. I do want to thank Tony Hoaglund, your State Farm agent in Champlin, Hoaglund, 11351 Aquila Drive in Champlin, but through his app, through actual phones, through the website, you can work with Tony no matter where you're located. Michael and I both get our insurance through Tony Hoaglund.
Hey, Minnesota sports fans. This is your local State Farm agent, Tony Hoaglund. I need you all to ask yourselves this question. If you're in an at-fault car accident and you are sued for $700,000, how much of that